Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion.
What fun!
Hey everyone, Hybrid here with a blast from the past. We are looking at the Black Series Geonosis Battle Droid. This came out way back in one of, if not the very most final waves of the Black Series. We had a legendary Attack of the Clones wave, the Attack of the Clones, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and then we had Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, and this guy. The wave before, we'd gotten Mace Windu, and we'd gotten Count Dooku, so we had some, great, prequel love going on in the line, and this was a much-needed figure. These battle droids were seen in the Battle of Geonosis section of Attack of the Clones, and we never saw them in this burgundy red ever again. So it's not the most iconic battle droid, don't get me wrong, that's still the tan one, but very, very recently in the line, we have gotten this absolute unit, the Geonosian warrior, and he is an excellent figure. But you might be debating putting together a little Battle of Geonosis display thing on your shelf. We've gotten a lot of Attack of the Clones love lately in general, so I wanted to take a drive back down old memory lane and see if this figure holds up today. So let's go ahead, open them up, and take a good look at everything going on with the Red Line Battle Droid from Geonosis. Let's go. Of course, before looking at the figure, we take a look at the box, and this is a very familiar old friend. The red and black line is packaging that I truthfully think has yet to be beaten. It stayed around a long time, but gosh, I do kind of miss these days. So it's a very iconic design. You have a window showing the figure and his accessories off rather well. They used to not have the warning here, so the window could be a little bit further down, a little bit larger. That was definitely a step back when they started putting all this legal stuff on the front instead of on the back, but it's just how the times were. Black Series logo, again, figure in the window. You have a really cool Gregory Titus artwork of the Battle Droid. Love that. Battle Droid Geonosis Warning 4 Plus Hasbro. He's number 108 in the line. I think it only went on to, 113 or something? There was only one more wave after this. You have your wraparound window, your Battle Droid Geonosis there in red, and then really big Battle Dur. You never got further than Oid. Black Series logo again, 108. You have a bio about the battle droids over that Gregory Titus artwork once more. Got a bunch of legal stuff, barcode, legal stuff, hanger tab up top. Very standard action figure packaging stuff, just in an older, retired flavor. Let's open them up and see everything going on with this absolute unit. Here's the Geonosian Battle Droid out of the packaging, looking good. He is somehow standing on his own 2 feet. I will tell you a little trick on that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at his accessories. So, he comes with this swap-out antenna, and these antennas would be worn by officers, so when they're getting, pinged, orders from the, space station up in space, they would have the specialty antenna, and it would replace the backpack. Now, while it's nice they made the mold, this guy's not an officer. He doesn't have the yellow circle on the chest or on his head, but it would be nice to have this for whenever they decide to start making some officers, which they haven't. The backpack unpegs. It has those 2 rectangular ports, and then it kind of just really marries up nicely. So you have the 2 holes in his back. And you just push this antenna in like so, and that one just stays empty, and he'd look really good with some yellow paint that he doesn't have. So we'll go ahead and set that aside. We'll put this backpack back on. Backpack looks really nice. Actually has a couple of antennas even that you would pull out from the side like so, and that is a good look. A little bit of orange paint on the tip there, like that kind of reddish orange, Geonosis orange, if you will. The blaster features a little peg on the side while we're looking at the backpack, and it pegs into the side of the backpack like so for weapons storage, or more likely you're going to have him just carrying it in his hand. But very nice looking gun. Ton of weathering. You don't get weathering like that in the line these days very often, but it's obviously almost entirely paint. It is a dark gray plastic, and then it has been given an extremely heavy wash, but very, very good looking piece. Going ahead and taking a look at the Geonosian Battle Droid, he looks very good. He has some weathering all over, which looks great. He should be relatively clean, you would think, considering that they were battling, on top of the droid factory, which Geonosis is the planet where all the droid factories were, but I digress. They use a really, really nice, it's kind of like a burnt reddish orange, almost brown. It's, I've never really known quite what to call this color, but other than Geonosis orange, and I feel like a lot of people do the same within the Star Wars world, so I feel that works, but the head looks very nice. Those black eyes are painted very, very well. Got a little bit of silver scuffing going on all over. The ears on the back are kind of hinged. You'd really have him a little bit more like that when he's, out doing, that might be a little too much. About in there. When he's off doing missions and stuff. A little bit of that silver scuffing going all over. And even little puffs of, like, black paint just to maybe accentuate a little bit of dirt or soot or something going on. Very, very good looking. He's got some gray going on those like piston sections on the sides of the waist. And other than that, not a lot of paint going on other than that weathering here and there. He's got little scuffs on the fronts of the legs and not really any scuffs on the back, I say, as we look at his tailbone there. But, yeah, a little bit on the backpack. It's a very, very well decoed figure. He looks very nice. And, as far as looking like a battle droid, I gotta be honest, the Black Series battle droid mold in general, actually really like as far as how it looks. I think it really looks the part of the battle droid. The big frustrating thing is due to the nature of the articulation, because of him having the fold-up mode, and also just these guys not functioning very well. There's a reason that they weren't practical puppets in the prequels. They were CG because they're almost too skinny to really function. He's got these teeny tiny little feet, and I guess if you set him down nice, I even set him down nice, and he's not really cooperating. And I'm just asking him to do an incredibly neutral, it's just not, and he almost acts like he will, and then he doesn't. So that's frustrating. So something that I do with all of my battle droids on the shelves, and I'm about to switch over to where all of my figures, period, you do it, is I use these stands. I get them on AliExpress. I've also seen them on eBay. Look up Black Series stands, and you'll find them. They're very generic. They come in black or clear. I kind of like this clear. They have 3 pegs, and all 3 pegs are a different size. This rightmost one being like the thickest, and the other 2 working for most figures. And the idea is you can at least get 1 foot on the peg, but I've always been able to get both feet on the pegs. Well, they stand slightly spread-legged. You get that gun in their hand. They look good. So probably how we're going to run for the rest of the review, because it's a very frustrating mold otherwise. But yeah, it's a very good-looking figure. It looks the part. I think the paint and deco and sculpt hold up to date. But, yeah, the teeny tiny feet have been a point of frustration for years. But what do? Do you make the feet bigger than they're supposed to be? Then they're wrong, and people complain about that. But to run through some articulation, because this guy does have plenty of articulation going on. He has a ball joint on the head and then a hinge at the bottom of the neck, so you can get him to look that high up, and then you can hinge the bottom of the neck for even more. You can hinge the bottom of the neck. It's a very snug hinge. Oh, and those ears pop off too. I'm bending the neck. The bottom hinge is a little stuck. There, that bottom hinge goes. And you can get him to look down like that. So that hinge also pulls up on its peg. But yeah, that ball joint gives you enough range for anything on its own. As I mentioned, those ears popped off. They just kind of hinge on the back there as well. His arms, gosh, what a hell of a head pose there. His arms can raise out about that far. That's pretty nice. Back in. 360 degree at the shoulder. There's an upper bicep swivel, single jointed elbows, go a little past 90, swivel at the forearm, and then there is a hinge at the wrist on the forearm, and then the hand pivots on a peg sticking out of the front of the forearm. Works pretty nicely. There is that ball joint up in the torso there that connects this abdomen area, but these sidebars are on pegs, so they can like twist with it. Very well engineered. You can get some side to side, not like a ton of pivot, but the twist works well. You can crunch that far forward, a little bit back. Then, of course, you have, we'll take him off the stand, you have infinite leg articulation. You can kick way up, way back. There's no thigh swivel, but like, what would you do with that? Like, how could you hide thigh swivel on a B1? It's just the thighs are flat, rectangular. It would break up any sculpt. There's no way to do a thigh swivel on a B1. The design does not have a thigh swivel. The B1's droids go straight forward, straight back. They don't swivel in universe. The knee bend goes all the way up. You can actually see there's a little bit of a cutout groove in the back of the shin there because the knees are meant to like scissor interlock together for storage, because he does have the ability to fold up. And then the feet have a swivel at the ankle, and then they hinge up and down, like forward and back really far. And there's a forward-facing pin, but it is a little bit at an angle, instead of just going straight forward. So it's a little awkward, but it works. And just to really quick show this guy folded up, you just fold the knees all the way up, you bring the arms in, you swing the hands in front of them. That's kind of how I sit in the shower most days when I cry. And then you swing that neck all the way down. You would push those antennas into the backpack. So he's got some good articulation. He folds up for storage like you see. Yeah, and I guess they'd ride along like that, right? So pretty quick, pretty easy to do. It's an interesting display option. I think most people are just going to have him out with his gun, but still, it looks nice. Here's the Geonosis B1 next to the Geonosian, who's a contender for Figure of the Year, in my opinion, and the B2 Super Battle Droid, who was a contender for Figure of the Year in 2024. And, I don't know that this guy was ever a contender for Figure of the Year, but he's still a great sculpt that holds up today, and when you compare him to the other figures that would really complement a Geonosis display, which is a display that he pretty much exclusively fits into, I think there's really nothing to be said here. They very much work together. They would look very good posed up fighting some Phase 1 clone troopers. He just looks really good, and he definitely fits into the ranks of the other characters that he would relate to on the battlefield. So at the end of the day, the Geonosis Battle Droid in 2026, good, bad, ugly, it's pretty good. I still like the Black Series Battle Droid mold. Again, frustrating mold a little bit with those tiny feet. Nothing a figure stand can't fix. Otherwise, I think this mold definitely has some longevity for years to come yet. I'm pretty satisfied with it. The paint on this guy is great. I love the little subtle weathering, the little bit of shading going on. Just gives it a little bit of a real-world punch, but otherwise, just the base plastic being the color works for me. For this type of unit, they're just orangey brown, so that's just what they look like. It's a figure that I think if you don't have in the collection, you should add if you like the prequels. If you like Battle Droids, I think you're gonna like adding them to your shelf. But really, really happy to have another one of these guys, and yeah, it was just a fun figure. If you want to see me pick this guy up, he was one of my pickups from Fan Expo Philadelphia. That vlog was rather recent. Try to remember to plug that here at the end. And yeah, I'm going to go work on something else now. Thanks so much for watching the video, hanging out, having a good time. Leave a nice comment. We'll have a fun conversation in the description down below. How many Battle Droids do you have in your Black Series collection? I've lost count, and there's more coming. We'll have a fun video there. Anyway, I'm going to dip. May the Force be with you. Thank you again. I'll catch you next time. Until then, bye.